Mm. Okay, folks. Thanks for being here at the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. Very excited. We're very excited today. We got a great show. We're going to get started about a minute. Yes, we're slightly early. We wish we were even earlier. We're trying to be responsible adults. Especially because, people got lives to live, man. We can't be doing this show so late. I am, as we speak, sending out the text message. Boom. Send now. If you do not receive our text messages and you would like to, it's a great way to make sure you never miss a show. And so what you're going to want to do, take out that cell phone of yours and text the word canary to 877-740-3226. That's 877-740-3226, and you will receive a text message right before we go live on, the live streaming days. So do that. Go to canarycry.party. You can find all sorts of resources that you need. You need them in your life, including the list of our other live streaming locations, because as usual, YouTube will only be receiving half of today's live broadcast. And that's pretty much it. I can't think of any other announcements that we will not announce in the show. I will say, and I hate to say it sounds like a broken record, and I don't like to nag. But if you've been holding off on putting your value back into the show to keep the show going, defend true independent media, today is a great day to do that. More thinning. The herd has been thinning. And so if you find value in what we do, think about returning that value in the value for value system. Head to canarycry.support or canarycryradio.com/support. Either one will get you there. And today is a great day to show your love. And here we go. We're going, folks. Buckle your seatbelts. Stay hydrated. Zoom.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is April 4th, 2022. This is episode 467, and we are live to tape with Royal Ruble and Razzle Dazzle. I am your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. Welcome back. We're live.
Yes.
We're always live.
Yes. Welcome back to you as well, Gonz.
Yep.
I'm happy to have you here in my home, my news analysis and deconstruction home. As you can see, I've redecorated the place to match the current apocalyptic situation.
Yes.
And we've got a great set of stories for you today, folks. Of course, we're going to be starting out with our lead stories that are all revolving not just around the war between Russia and whoever else Russia is at war with, but also where the economic standards will be moving. Very important to know for the future. Of course, we'll have a wonderful FLIPPY update spanning the large expanses of time. We also got POLYTICKS checking in with old hairy legs. A 5G update today, which those come so far between, and we're excited to have a little have a little, I don't know. You'll see. It's going to be great. And then we'll be checking in with the the topic of witchcraft in the public eye, as well in the international order. And you guessed it, we'll be topping off the show, making sure you are fully aware of why and how Antarctica is the most important place in the world.
Aliens.
But all that comes later. But first, our lead stories, Gons. What do you got for us?
Russia, Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold.
Buy gold.
Oh, okay. Buy gold. All right.
We're bringing this story from RT, which obviously is censored out in the West. This is probably not a good leading point for Susan. She might not like the fact that we're reading from RT. But
are we carrying water for Putin, Gons?
This isn't water. Maybe some gold.
Okay, good. Okay. As long as it's not water.
As long as it's not water. Gold-backed ruble could be a game changer. This is an RT article that came out on April 2nd, 2022. It says here, the Bank of Russia has resumed gold purchases this week, but more importantly, the regulator is doing so at a fixed price of 5,000 rubles, about $59 per gram, between March 28th and June 30th, raising the possibility of Russia returning to the gold standard for the first time in over a century. If the country takes the next step, as has been proposed this week, to sell its commodities priced in rubles, these combined moves could have huge implications for the ruble, the US dollar, and the global economy. To get some answers, RT spoke to precious metals analyst Ronan Manley at Bullion Star Singapore. So don't worry, Susan.
Ronan Manley.
They're just talking to the Manley guy from Bullion Star in Singapore, not some Russian oligarch.
Mr. Manley.
Yeah.
No.
So it's an interview style. I'll read a little bit just to kind of get an idea here. Why is setting a fixed price for gold and ruble significant? And Manley answers, by offering to buy gold from Russian banks at a fixed price of 5,000 rubles per gram, the Bank of Russia has both linked the ruble to gold and, since gold trades in U.S. dollars, set a floor price for the ruble in terms of the U.S. dollar. And I was thinking, man, this is actually, if it's not like, obviously this all feels planned, right? Like, wow, how convenient that Russia with all their gold reserves is all of a sudden like, USA putting sanctions on us, better tie that currency back to gold. And that forces the U.S. to not be able to push the price down. Yeah. Go ahead.
We've been tracking for about a year the abnormal uptick in gold purchases, both by the central banks of Russia and China, which sort of signaled that something
they were
weird.
Ready for this. They were very ready for this occasion.
It's almost like they had been preparing this contingency plan for a while now.
Right. We can see this linkage in action since Friday, 25th March, when the Bank of Russia made the fixed price announcement. The ruble was trading at around $100 or 100 to the US dollar at that time, but has since strengthened and is nearing 80 to the dollar. Why? Because gold has been trading on international markets at about, it gets into some of the details, and it gets a little complicated with the math and the charting and all that. We don't have to get into all that.
But the point is, it seems to be working.
It's working, because the U.S., if the U.S. wants to continue to destroy the ruble, they basically have to manipulate the price of gold down, to do that, because the gold price is fixed. So, interesting.
And the difference is, it is quite the play. And the difference is, just for those who might need a review, there's the gold standard for currency, and then there's other standards. But one of the most popular in today's global economies are fiat currency, which is basically the price or the value of a piece of currency based more or less on debt, the existence of debt mixed with the authority behind it guaranteeing that debt, which is, of course, what the U.S. has been on for quite a few decades now, and they sort of forced it on the rest of the world.
They did.
And anytime anybody wanted to go back to a gold standard, the U.S. suddenly found, terrorists or something in their country.
To fight. There's things to do. Must keep that printer running.
Yeah. Which is an interesting timing on it because, hey, Russia's already at war. What's the U.S. going to do? Be at more war?
Yeah. Well, the play isn't just with gold, because the next question here, what does it mean for oil? Russia is the world's largest natural gas exporter and the world's third largest oil exporter. We are seeing right now that Putin is demanding that foreign buyers, importers of Russian gas, must pay for this natural gas using rubles. This immediately links the price of natural gas to rubles, and because of the fixed link to gold, to the gold price. So Russian natural gas is now linked via the ruble to gold. We have gold-backed oil from Russia. That's that's like, whoa, okay. We were talking about commodity moving back towards a commodity-based world order, and here we are.
This lines up perfectly with the analysis that you brought last week, which is, as far as international commerce is concerned, or sort of the economy of individual states, moving directly back to a commodity-based value system, at least for the big boys. And that's exactly what happened. You've got at least two commodities wrapped up in this attempt to strengthen the ruble. And so far, so good. Man, I should have bought rubles when I had the chance.
Well, when it was dipping, we did make that joke, buy the dip, buy the ruble dip, but it was true.
I know. I was giving that advice away for free, and as usual, I was not taking my own advice. Right. I cannot believe it.
Well, you're a giver, It's more good to give. It's the whole biblical thing, Gotta give, man. Gotta give.
Okay. One of these days, I'd love to receive. I wonder what that's like.
You receive the free gift of salvation, my man. You're good.
You're good to go. That's true. Thanks for the reminder.
What does it mean for the price of gold? By playing both sides of the equation, i.e. linking the ruble to gold and then linking energy payments to the ruble, the Bank of Russia and the Kremlin are fundamentally altering the entire working assumption of the global trade system while accelerating change in the global monetary system. This wall of buyers in search of physical gold to pay for real commodities could certainly torpedo and blow up the paper gold markets of the LBMA and COMEX. And actually, that's another interesting thing because, if the gold prices go to where they're supposed to go, I mean, we're talking a lot of gains for gold, but also it weakens the dollar even more. So it's an interesting situation the U.S. is in. The fixed peg between
not just the U.S. dollar, but we're also talking the petrodollar.
Well, because most of the world's fiat is pegged to the U.S. dollar, which is pegged to the oil side of things for the U.S. as well.
Yeah.
It gets into more stuff here. What does it mean for the ruble? And I also think it's interesting. It kind of forces the U.S. to look at not just gold as commodities, but I think this has something to do with Bitcoin. I think the U.S. might be getting ready to roll out a big Bitcoin campaign. Here's why. Because think about what happened with gold, right? There was a big gold rush. Everyone fled west, try to get gold. And then in 1933, because of the turmoil in the economy and everything else, the government or the Fed decided it's illegal to own gold. Sell your gold, trade it in for U.S. dollars. And so they did. And then
full on confiscated a lot of gold.
Right? And then after the fact, then the government, now that there was a reserve of gold, with the federal government, they raised the price and, all the, forget all the, the peons out there and they're, they're duped into selling their gold to the government for, pennies on the dollar. That can happen again. Why is Bitcoin called digital gold or gold 2.0? If you look at the history of gold and what happened under this new world order system, that's not a good sign for Bitcoin. But before it gets locked down, it's going to have to go way up because you want everybody to buy in, right? And then they can roll out the CBDCs. That's when they can go, hey.
So you're thinking they're going to do a national sort of Bitcoin confiscation program?
I think they're going to try maybe a few years. If this thing keeps rolling the way it is, I have a feeling they're going to try something like that because otherwise the U.S. dollar they're going to say this is to save the dollar, to save the West, to say, whatever.
Right.
And so that's why the people that own these new assets will have to, they're contributing to the country. They're doing it for
your patriotic
duty to, yeah.
And don't worry, we'll give you the
we'll
CBDC
compensate you with the CBDC and we'll track it. So it's very.
That is a nightmare.
I know. But I think that's kind of what they're planning to do. I don't know if they'll pull it off. But I can see that being a big play with the CBDC thing as we move forward here, and why, I don't know. You can get into all kinds of corners and topics of Bitcoin and the ins and outs and the rabbit trails. But I think there's something to do with
folks. Hardware wallets,
and that's the thing. When the government, and that's going to be the big thing. You don't have to give your money or your Bitcoin up to the government, but are they going to make that illegal? Are they going to make you some kind of terrorist because you own Bitcoin? Yeah. That's really the fear.
Well, we already know that's that's a very useful strategy that they've already done.
Yeah. So let me just wrap with this. What does it mean for the U.S. dollar? Since 1971, the global reserve status of the U.S. dollar has been underpinned by oil, and the petrodollar era has only been possible due to both the world's continued use of U.S. dollars to trade oil and the USA's ability to prevent any competitor to the U.S. dollar. But what we are seeing right now looks like the beginning of the end of that 50-year system and the birth of a new gold and commodity-backed multilateral monetary system. The freezing of Russia's foreign exchange reserves has been the trigger, which is so funny. It's like, we did this for what? To stop Putin with this war thing, but it's just making things way worse for the U.S. The giant commodity-strong countries of the world, such as China and the oil-exporting nations, may now feel that now is the time to move to a new, more equitable monetary system. It's not a surprise. They have been discussing it for years. While it's still too early to say how the U.S. dollar will be affected, it will come out of this period weaker and less influential than before. So that's kind of the obviously this is RT. You got to take that with a grain of salt, but also some truth in there that, this is the whole sanction thing is shooting the U.S. shooting themselves in the foot in a certain way, because it triggered all this stuff. Which is why it's kind of like, seems like part of the big agenda to reset everything.
It's almost as if there's been a long-standing plan being executed to execute some sort of great reset on the whole system.
Well, it's just funny because it's one of those things Biden's like, set the sanctions, Putin, evil man. And Putin's like, oh, yes, just this is when I peg to gold, It's like
isn't it funny, though? I mean, the people who pay attention are, have been complaining about the fact, that we've been off the gold standard for quite some time and how messed up that is and how it only serves to empower existing power structures and put more authority into the hands of those at the top of the pyramid, if you will. And that, having a currency based on gold is sort of like if you want to talk about equitable currency system, if the piece of paper actually represents a physical piece of value in the world, that's a little bit more equitable. But no, it's Putin, the evil psychopath, who is doing the thing, who's like making this, going back to a more equitable economic system. And so we need to find some alternative to the new Hitler's weird evil plan to value his money based on commodities. And that will be, I'm sure it'll work out so well for us, Gons.
Well, you brought up the Great Reset, and that's something I want to talk about here as well.
Let's do it.
Russia.
We need a Great Reset.
Learn to use the dark side of the Force.
We are unstoppable. Another world is possible. We are unstoppable.
A new world order.
It's possible. When do we want it?
Yes, this was a clip that was, I was strolling down CNN lane, which I love to do, and seriously can't help myself at this point. It is an addictive thing. So don't Don't mess around with CNN, kids. It'll fry your brain, and you'll never get off the stuff. But they had an interview here with a retired general who came in to talk about what's going on. It was retired General Wesley Clark. Mm-hmm. Ever heard of him, Gons? We're talking about the Wesley Clark 7, and he had some fun things to say about Russia. And again, keep in mind, CNN is pretty much the most
transparent intel news platform.
the most well-funded conspiracy theory outlet, as well as intelligence, the U.S. intelligence outlet as well. So go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage, baby.
General, what should we be reading into U.S. intelligence that's telling us that Russia is shifting its focus to having this victory in early May? If Russia takes control of parts of Ukraine, would Putin just stop there? Wouldn't he want more?
Oh, the goal is not any different. He published what he wanted back in December. He wants Ukraine.
Will you pause it real quick?
He wants the Baltic.
Yeah.
What kind of question is that for an anchor to ask?
Well, it's a setup. Of course, it's CNN.
Excuse me, if Putin gets what he wants, won't he just want more, General? What the heck kind of question is that? Okay, all right, give us the talking points, General.
He published what he wanted back in December. He wants Ukraine. He wants the Baltic states. He wants control over Eastern Europe. He wants to shatter NATO, and he wants the United States out. This is for all the marbles. All he's trying to do right now is stall. He'd like to stall Western reinforcement of Ukraine. He'd like to have us emotionally, morally disarmed to think that's all he wants. But it isn't. So he wants to disrupt the international system. And with him is China in this.
Hold on. Isn't the Biden sanction would disrupt? I mean, yes, the invasion of Russia.
So glad you got that.
But yeah, okay, yeah. All right.
He wants to disrupt the international system.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that is what he wants, then what you're saying, General Wesley Clark, is that Biden fell directly into the trap. Why are we doing what all the sanctions, pretty much the only set of actions that Biden has taken against Putin in response, by the way, not on his own, in response to Putin's movement in Ukraine, was to pull the sanctions, convince everybody else to pull the sanctions, talk to all the other international leaders, make everybody else obey the sanctions. That's what's disrupted the international economic order. It wasn't Putin. And if Putin did all of this as a trap to lure Biden into destroying the current economic world order, then what does that say about our president? He did exactly what Putin wanted. So I think this is, whether or not that is the case, it very well could have been the case. I mean, Putin's not a dumb guy if you believe people like, well, this retired general and everybody else sort of trying to simultaneously convince us that he's a madman with a brain tumor and a narcissistic personality disorder, or some sort of genius who is single-handedly destroying, 100 years worth of New World Order economic
sounds familiar. A familiar dichotomy there.
Exactly. Somehow he's doing both, and we fell right into his trap, and Biden just is taken by surprise. He had no idea that this was going to disrupt the entire economic world order. Okay, continue.
It's the Trump Putin.
China's on the sidelines, maybe, but rooting for him. China's looking at Taiwan. China wants to assert itself. So China and Russia have teamed up on this. Ukraine is just the current battlefield. But if the Ukrainians defeat Russia on this battlefield, everything changes. So the best way to protect NATO,
way to pause it real quick.
Does it really?
What do you mean Ukraine defeats Russia on this battlefield? Over and over and over, the corporate news has told us, there's just no way Ukraine could win this war on their own. There's no way. Putin's army is 10 times bigger than what he's sent in there so far. He has the biggest guns, the fanciest drones. Ukraine doesn't stand a chance. We must go in and help them. And this imaginary situation where General Wesley Clark is talking about, Ukraine must defeat Russia on this battlefield and they will save the world. Well, sounds like a great reason for the U.S. to get involved, doesn't it? Cool.
So the best way to protect NATO, the best way to protect the international system is to give Ukraine the assistance it says it needs and let them handle Russia on this battlefild.
What's fascinating about this, and this is partly why we're talking about this as the New World Order, is that I realized last night as I was kind of putting this show together that I feel like, and we've talked about some of this before, like the different party system in the world order being similar to like a Republican Democrat thing. If you look at the history of the U.S. and how we split up into two parties, we had like the Constitution, we had, the Bill of Rights, 1776, that whole deal. I think it's within like 20 years or something, they started arguing about how much power should the government have and how should that, power be distributed. And it split off into two parties, right? And there's more detail to that, obviously, but just kind of a rundown. And I feel like that's what's happening here. We all agreed for this globalism, this world order. We have all agreed to do it with the U.S. dollar. Here we are. We have done it. And then now there's disagreements about how to do it. And that's why I think we're hearing everybody call for a new world order. Ever since this whole thing happened, I have a screenshot here of 12 articles just doing a New World Order search, just phrase New World Order. And I tallied it, and this is what this was, Baz. I know you were like, what is this thing with the notes? But basically, out of the 12, there's 4 headlines that say how Russia and China are trying to build a world order, New World Order, democratic world order. There's 4 articles about the U.S. and Biden saying, oh, Biden's talking about a new world order. What's he talking about? The Washington Times even has Cold War II and Biden's new world order, which is something we've talked about in the past as well. And then there's 4 others that are more neutral. So it's kind of like it's like the race is on, the game is on, speaking of the New World
battle
Order
for the New World Order.
Right. I'm seriously though, like right as we're launching the New World Order Fantasy League, that we're going to probably do in the next few weeks here. The real life game of chess, whatever, in the global stage is beginning as well. So I thought that was really fascinating.
It's the big game, baby. The big game is starting. It's starting. We are ready for it.
And there's one country that I want to focus in on just to wrap up this little segment here, and that is Israel, because it has a lot to do with eschatology, the Bible. Stuff happened in Israel that has to do with the Bible. Did you know this, Basil? I don't know if you knew this.
I would have no way of knowing.
The article is written by, it's an opinion piece written by Philip Pilkington for Newsweek. And the headline is, Israel in the New Multipolar World Order. So everyone's using the same phrase. Yeah. Because, we were coming out of a unipolar system, the US dollar. We're going into multipolar. Over the past few weeks, it has become impossible to deny the rapid emergence of a multipolar world. This trend has been in the pipeline for some time, but the invasion of Ukraine by Russia allows us to apply Hemingway's adage about going broke. The multipolar world emerged gradually, then suddenly. Yes. Ooh. What this means for the world is unclear, but expect a lot of change.
Coincidentally, that's what they say about falling in love and falling asleep, Gons.
Yeah,
it happens slowly and then all at once.
True. What this means for the world is unclear, but expect a lot of change in the coming decade. By the end of the 2020s, the world is unlikely to look anything like it did at the beginning. The Russian invasion of Ukraine and the apparent coordination between Russia and China in its wake seem likely to instigate lasting changes in the geopolitical and economic world order on a magnitude not seen since the Second World War. Similar language with the whole New World Order conversation. One country that will want to pay close attention is Israel. Since the end of the short Yom Kippur War in 1973, Israel's fate has been tied to the dominance of the United States. In recent years, this relationship has weakened somewhat, but it remains Israel's de facto fallback. The problem for Israel is simple enough. Iran is a major power in the region, both historically and in terms of sheer size, and the Islamic Republic makes no secret that it does not recognize Israel's legitimacy. Israel's relationship with the U.S. has ensured that Iran has been contained. This was mainly accomplished through harsh economic sanctions that kept the Iranian economy weak and until now dissuaded Iran from pursuing nuclear weapons. A continue thing here. Let's see. American-led sanctions do not look nearly as convincing today as they did before the Russian invasion. However, Russia and China have responded to them by stitching together a variety of measures that not only allow Russia to function within the sanctions, but seek to build a rival economic system to the Western one. If Russia and China succeed, they could quite easily alleviate the burden on the Iranian economy by bringing it into the fold. This would render American sanctions much less effective tool as a tool to contain the country. What are Israel's possible responses to this scenario? The most obvious is diplomacy. Israel has run hot and cold during the Russian invasion, which is true. Have you noticed? They're kind of like, they're not really taking a stance on the Russia thing. They've been very accommodating to some Russian oligarchs, but also not being fully, not fully unbacking Ukraine. They've been sort of beating around the bush. Israel has good relations with Russia and China. If and when the New World Order emerges, Israel will no doubt use these relations to make clear its problems with Iran. But Russia and China also have good relations with Iran. The best Israel can hope for out of this diplomacy would be for Russia and China to mediate an arrangement in the Middle East that is somewhat stable. In Israel's worst-case scenario, the new emerging order would simply unleash Iran and make it Russia and China's main partner in the region. I won't go on here because we're a little short on time, but it is interesting. The U.S. being the former power of the unipolar world system and breaking apart into a multipolar world, Israel stuck in that middle ground kind of, where, hey, the world powers are shifting a little bit. Do we stick with the U.S.? Do we hop on this wagon over here, this new shiny wagon that the China and Russia are putting together? And I
mean, it's kind of a smart play, honestly.
I know, especially because of the Iran situation, right? Like,
might not like it or agree with it or whatever, but as far as their own national interests are concerned, it might be the smartest thing to sit back for a second,
just to wait for a moment. And just to tie a bow on this with the eschatological views, I always recommend this book, but I think it's just so well written. False Christ, Will the Antichrist Claim to be the Jewish Messiah by Chris White. And of course, he argues that the Antichrist, as the scriptures describe him, will be a sort of fake messianic fulfillment that the Jews have been waiting for. They've been waiting for this conquering Messiah to defend Israel and restore Israel. And so in that regard, you look at, and Chris does a great job of tying Mystery Babylon to eschatological Jerusalem, like the end time city of Jerusalem. And it talks about the city, or the harlot, fornicating with the kings of the world. And you look at what the Israel situation, and it's very fascinating because it's like, oh, you've been fornicating with the U.S. for a while now. Are you going to go fornicate? Are you going to go cheat on the U.S.? Are you going to go hang out with Russia and China because it's the new shiny, the new whatever? Yeah. So I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting parallel with everything going on, that even with all these changes, there's a context to be had with Bible prophecy.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, what other option would there be? Of course it is. Of course.
Yeah, especially Israel, right? I mean, there's so much going on there.
Yeah. Well, Gons, you know what else is a big of course?
What is of course?
It's Monday.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
Woo.
That's right. It's Monday again, folks, and we're happy to be here, and we're happy that you're here with us. Whether you're here live or listening on the RSS feed, means a lot. You've got lots of options for your news analysis and deconstruction, and we're glad you're spending it with us. Gons, did anything exciting happen over the weekend for you?
No. I forget.
No.
There was something I was going to mention.
A hesitant no.
Because there was something I was going to mention, but I totally forget now. So it probably wasn't that exciting. And yeah.
Well,
can't think of it.
I thought I had something exciting too, but I don't. But I think we should take this opportunity to put out some
exclusive
good news. Some fun news, and I will start with the bad news.
Okay,
and then I'll give you the good news.
All right.
How about that?
That sounds good.
Okay, so here's the bad news, folks. And if you are a regular tuner-inner, this is important. This Friday, what is the date on this Friday, Gons? What is it going to be? The 8th? It's the 8th. Yes, Friday the 8th. We will not have a live broadcast of Canary Cry News Talk. And there's a couple of reasons for this, Gons. I don't know how much you want to go into it.
Oh, it's my father-in-law's memorial service is taking place. So hanging out with family and doing that whole thing.
Of course.
But,
and it's time you deserve to take off. You work hard, and of course we want to let you spend the time with your family that you need. Now, here's the exciting part of that, folks.
Yeah, the timing of this all is so strange, isn't it?
The timing is incredible. It's almost as if there's some sort of divine creator who sort of uses the bad things for good outcomes as well, and for his own popularity, which we loved to see. On Sunday, April 10th, so that is this upcoming Sunday, we will be doing a live broadcast at about 12:30 in the afternoon. Now, this is not Easter Sunday.
No, it's Palm Sunday, actually.
Thank you. Geez, why could I not remember it? It's Palm Sunday this Sunday, so it's not usually something, a day that we would plan on doing the show, but it just so happened that an opportunity came up to do a live show on the No Agenda stream, which is very exciting. Yes, they have a live stream running 24/7. No Agenda will record and do their show on Sunday morning like they always have. And we got an opportunity to take the next primetime spot on Sunday afternoon over there at what's the link? NoAgendaStream.com.
Yeah, we'll share all the links out especially as it gets close to the time of going live. But
exactly,
this is a one-time thing. I don't think this is a recurring, but it is a special occasion.
As of now, this of course is not a permanent change in schedule, but we are excited to have the opportunity. We're very grateful to No Agenda Stream for inviting us to do that, or allowing us to do that. So bad news is no show on Friday, but we will be doing a live show on Sunday, which you can tune in for, and plenty of spots there, including noagendastream.com. And we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming on Monday.
Yeah,
so there you go. Just a little hiccup for a little day off for Gons, but also we'll make up for it on Sunday and back to normal on Monday.
We should do an over-under on whether or not Adam Curry will actually mention the full title of the show at the end right before we go live.
Or will remember us whatsoever. Yeah, we should. There's lots of fun opportunities for that. So, yeah. Well, we'll give you guys more details as we get closer. Obviously, that will simply just be Wednesday's show. And we'll tweet out all the details, things like that. And with that, Gons, I think it's time that we thank our executive producer for today's show.
Executive producers. Oh, we got a few more than I thought here. Yeah.
Well, we got one.
Oh, we got one?
Executive producers.
That's right. We're on the value for value model, folks. And people who support the show, putting value back in, have an opportunity to become an executive producer of the show by showing how much value that they receive from the show by putting it back in. And we have one executive producer for the day, which... Yeah, which I mean is exciting. It's better than when we have 0.
Well,
I mean,
for some reason I thought there was 3. So, but it's okay.
That was from last episode.
Okay.
Yes, and our executive producer for today is. Wait, let me make sure I do it correctly. Stefan, that's what it is. Stefan S.
Stefan
Thank you very
S.
much.
Thank you very much. He's an executive producer, huh?
Yeah.
Where'd you find this?
And so thank you very much, Stefan S. And, there's something about I hate to sound like a broken record, but producership is still lingering. There's room for improvement in general. So if you're out there and you would like to become a producer of the show, again, take personal responsibility for the continuation of independent media, true independent media, devoid of any corporate money or corporate incentives. Please consider becoming a producer of the show. You can do that by heading over to patreon.com/ccnt, or even better, canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. And like I said, there's still time. We'll be thanking the rest of the producers in our first break. And of course, we have a note and more from our executive producer, Stefan S. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And with that, Gons, you know who I got to remember to remind that we'll not be doing a Friday show, because it could really mess up his schedule. And that's our good friend, Flippy.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. Time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and just how there's nothing we can do about it. We got an interesting take on the Flippy update here today, Gons, and I'm hoping that you will take my hand and let me lead you down this this exploration.
Oh, you have a flying
Flippy
carpet?
Through the ages. Yes, a whole new robot. This so it's a Flippy in 2 parts. And we're starting over here at Futurism.com.
Oh.
And we are tuning in, not with Flippy proper, but with Spot. Spot, the sort of dystopian robo-dog that is cute and cuddly, but also has a penchant for enslaving humanity in all sorts of nasty ways. This is coming from, like I said, Futurism.com. The headline is China straps loudspeakers to robot dog so it can scream at people to stay home, just in case they still didn't get the message. Now, this will not come as a surprise to you Flippy veterans. We all throughout the pandemic where robots were suddenly put into pseudo law enforcement positions because it was just too dangerous for a human to tell you to stay in your house. And this was, but like we love to remember, history, may not repeat itself, but it does rhyme. So a little update here. A robot dog in Shanghai, China, surprise, surprise, is roaming the streets, barking COVID-19 safety instructions through a loudspeaker crudely strapped to its back amid one of the tightest lockdowns the city has faced since the beginning of the pandemic. Videos widely circulating online show the small black quadruped scuttling down an empty city street while blaring out instructions via a megaphone loosely slung around its back with what appears to be black and yellow caution tape.
So lazy. Come on, China. Get a little more of a presentation there if you're going to do the dystopian
It is the funniest
robots.
part because... Yeah, of course we know Spot here from Boston Dynamics is, I don't know if this is actually officially Spot, but it's a robot dog.
I thought China had their own.
Known. They do. That's why it's not. This is not Boston Dynamics, but we're going to call him Spot anyways. these robot dogs are known and designed to be highly modular. You're supposed to be able to put an arm on it if you need an arm, put a gun on it if you need a gun, put a sensor array or a drone launch platform. These are all things that the dog is designed to accommodate. But apparently there's no megaphone attachment, so they just had to kind of tape one onto its back, which it just shows a sort of speed and haste at which they needed to yell at people for leaving their homes.
The idea of, here are the robot dogs. Does it bark? Oh no, we forgot to.
Oh no, we forgot the speaker. Quick,
strap one on.
The article continues. A dystopian nightmare or a cute demonstration of public health tech? We'll let you decide on that one. Then they got a video here you can play. Shanghai is currently facing one of its most serious waves of confirmed cases of COVID yet. The city has been in full lockdown since the end of March, with a new subvariant of the Omicron variant driving a spike in illness. Robot dogs aren't the only machines patrolling the streets here. Chinese officials have also reportedly used drones that also told residents to stay at home, according to the Times. According to Reuters, residents aren't even allowed to leave their homes to take out their trash. Despite the strict lockdown measures, Shanghai reported less than 8,000 asymptomatic cases. That is weird. What are you laughing at?
While looking at the video of the thing, and the backward bending knees makes it look more like a bug, but also it looks very janky.
It is a janky one
with the megaphone strapped on. I mean, it looks like I can hop in a Humvee and just run it over. That's what I would
probably don't even need a Humvee. You could do it with a Kia Sportage. Despite the strict lockdown measures, Shanghai, and also that's robo hate. You can't talk. You can't threaten robots anymore. Okay.
Robo road rage. Yeah.
If you know what's good for you, you should not threaten these robots. I can only stand up for you for so long after I've won
I didn't say you.
The robot.
I didn't say I am going to do it, or you should do it. I'm saying
Hans, I've only gotten so much pull with these robots, man. Despite the strict lockdown measures, Shanghai reported less than 8,000 asymptomatic cases and 438 symptomatic cases on April 3rd, a far cry from much more severe past outbreaks of COVID in other parts of the world.
It's turning into COVID.
I know. Well, see, hold on. One last paragraph. Whether a robot dog with a loudspeaker will prevent those numbers from rising exponentially remains to be seen, but we'll wager a guess and say it won't exactly have a very big impact, if any. And I think we would agree. It's not necessarily the impact on COVID that is the most valuable part to the technocratic hive mind future dystopian societal structure. It is the very fact of programming people to obey a robot, obey a little dog with a megaphone strapped to its back that has the highest potential for benefiting the future technocracy, technocratic dystopia. So, quick point to make here, and keep this in mind as we hit our next story. We've talked about the future of the technocracy and what the world can look like. And China has always been a wonderful example of the exact future that we are talking about.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to COVID, where we repeat over and over that at any moment they can flip the switch and turn on the COVID frenzy again, try to control our lives again, whether it's with humans or with robots.
And it seems like with every iteration of the lockdown, another COVID outbreak, they're going to release more robots into the streets.
More
to
severe.
monitor
Everybody. Exactly.
So
So what we are looking at here on this article is a potential reflection of our future and the role that the robot dog is playing.
You're saying the future in the West. Because this is reality for China here.
Because it's the current reality in China, but we're talking about our future in the West. Over here, next article, UPI.com. Headline, Robot Dog patrolling the ruins of ancient Italian city Pompeii.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Okay.
Officials in Italy say they have enlisted the service of a robot dog to patrol the ancient ruins of the city of Pompeii with the mechanical quadruped's duties, including identifying safety issues and finding tunnels created by thieves.
Wow.
I did not know this was a problem in Pompeii, but apparently they have the mole people are looting it for its riches. The Pompeii Archaeological Park announced Spot, a dog-like robot developed by U.S. firm Boston Dynamics, is now wandering the ancient ruins of the city, which was destroyed by a volcanic eruption nearly 2,000 years ago. The park said Spot's duties include inspecting the ancient buildings for dangerous structural issues.
I would imagine the robot running into one of the walls is much more dangerous to the structural integrity of ancient buildings than
Spot would never
people.
do that. Assessing the progress of restoration work and identifying and inspecting tunnels created by relic thieves.
Wow.
Quote, often the safety conditions within the tunnels dug by grave robbers are extremely precarious. And so the use of a robot could signify a breakthrough that would allow us to proceed with greater speed and in total safety, said some guy whose name I can't pronounce. The robot is the latest in a series of efforts to improve conditions at the park, which was cited by the UN Educational, Scientific, and Cultural
there it is, the UN.
Organization.
The UN rolling out robot dogs.
Right.
To patrol ancient sites. Okay.
And Pompeii's in peril. So not only do you have robot dogs patrolling the streets in an example of what our possible dystopian technocratic medical tyranny future is, but we've also got robot dogs patrolling the site of an ancient historical apocalypse. I mean, the Pompeii is like the most prescient example of how a force of God, a volcano, can wipe out an entire civilization. So you've got the apocalypse of the future, and you've got the apocalypse of the past, and robots are patrolling both of them. I found this in the on the cork board, connecting the dots with the red yarn, and the frenzied explanation of how these robots are wiggling their way into our lives. The message is received. News. I've got the message. The robot dogs are in the apocalypse of the past, the apocalypse of the future. They are ever present in the dystopian or apocalyptic destruction of society as we know it. And you know what, Gons? When the robots speak, you better listen, because they're telling you what's up right now.
It's all coming together.
There you go. Any thoughts, fears, regrets, anything you'd like to add to this?
Buying Boston Dynamics stock when we first started looking at it in 2013. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think you covered it well there.
I think we got it. I think it's a very powerful message, and that's why we bring to you the Flippy updates, because these are the types of things we need to pay attention to, as if we didn't have enough things going on. That is your Flippy update for the day.
Very good. And yeah, we'd like to do this despite whatever else is going on every episode, because the progress is still happening, whether or not you're paying attention to it or not. And we try to pay attention to the things.
The relentless march of robots through time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're coming for you.
They're coming. Okay. Let's talk about... Oh, what is going on with my system? I always have problems.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about a party. Canary Cry Party.
Party time.
Find the live stream, clips, email lists, text notifications, street team posters, show notes, ways to connect with other Canarians, and how to become a producer.
Welcome to Canary Cry Party. It's the place you wanna be. So stay. Welcome to Canary Cry. Gameplay, Canary Cry Party.
That's right. Go check it out. All sorts of resources, and you'll see all of our streaming locations for when YouTube inevitably gets just half of the broadcast today. I want to take a second and let everybody know about Ravel. Ravel is a podcast that I do with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates, very smart biblical man, theologian. What was I trying to say there? He's PhD in biblical interpretation.
Man.
He's a biblical man, and now he's a biblical father. So we're so excited about that. Yes, and go check out Ravel. It's on all the podcast players, apparently except Stitcher. And we just are wrapping up our last interview with our Artists On section. Series rather. We had a interview with Elliot Morgan, who is a writer and a comedian and does all sorts of deep thinking type things. He's a cool guy, fun guy, and he grew up in the church. We discuss his journey in and out and possibly back into the church, but also talk about comedy and God and society and all sorts of good stuff. Really good interview. Go check it out. Just dropped today. And again, apologies for the late drop, but there's babies now, man. We got all my co-hosts have babies, and what am I supposed to do about it? Anywho, go check it out. Ravel on all your podcast players. There's two podcasts called Ravel. The other one explicitly stole our name, but ours is the one with the cool logo and my name on it. So go check it out. And while you're at it, go subscribe to the Canary Cry Clips channel. That's right. Clips of the show are being created by our Clippies, our human Clippies, who are working very hard to clip out every show, present and past and probably future if everything goes right, and make shorter segments of the show available without all the riffraff. So it's a great way to review pieces of the show. It's a great way to share the show, and it's a great way to let people know that we exist without expecting them to make it all the way through one of our long podcasts. Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odysee, and of course, last but not least, join our what is it called? Text message alert system. A lot of people have trouble catching the show because we've been basically black bagged. None of our notifications really go out anymore. So if you want notifications so you never miss a live broadcast, text the word canary to the number 877-740-3226. Canary to 877-740-3226. Okay, Gons, that's it. And I hope people enjoy receiving text messages from me. When you get one, you can go, wow, Basil texted me. And it will be true. I write them all myself.
Poly. It's Latin for many. Tick. Now suck your blood. Now suck politics.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
For those of you watching, you were privy to the new POLYTICKS jingle. Thank you, Faye Liverin. We'll be thanking you properly later on. It was fantastic.
Jingle animation.
Jingle animation. What did I say? Jingle video?
You just said jingle, but it's okay. Yes, it's Faye Liverin has continued to increase the production value of the live stream. We're so excited. The new animation was for the POLYTICKS jingle, and it is chock-a-block full of the portraits from Dame Allie. They have been put to use in an amazing display.
Incredible. I love this.
Jingly animation. Thank you, Faye Liverin, and I'm so glad that we got a nice display of Allie's portraits there.
Yep.
I like in the animation, it's mostly all politicians and like other lizard people, and then the rooster is there
the
too.
Rooster's there. Well,
the lizard person
is the most diplomatically successful of all the animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What do you got for us?
So we're going to start with thehill.com here. And the headline, Biden's absolute defense of Hunter leaves media and Justice Department in a muddle. Leaves them in a muddle.
Doesn't it?
Muddle. Quote,
that's a weird thing to say, but okay.
quote, "We absolutely stand by the president's comments," end quote. With those words, White House Communication Director Kate Bedingfield reaffirmed that President Biden maintains his son Hunter Biden did, quote, "nothing that was unethical and never, quote, made money in China." I thought the whole thing was Ukraine, but okay. All right. Those claims appear demonstrably false, and they make the position of both the media and Attorney General Merrick Garland absolutely untenable. For the media,
They really say demonstrably false?
Yeah, those claims appear demonstrably false.
Yeah, there's a couple things in there that they could get away with saying.
Right.
He said he never made money in China.
In China.
Okay. All right. I'm willing to concede perhaps his feet were not in China. He was not
in
standing
a motel in the U.S.
within the borders of China when he made the money. Yes, yeah, he was in a Motel 6 in the U.S. when the money was deposited into his account. Okay.
Yeah, interesting use of language here. Those claims appear demonstrably false, and they make the positions of the media and Attorney General Merrick Garland absolutely untenable. For the media, the ongoing investigation of Hunter Biden by U.S. Attorney David Weiss in Delaware has presented a growing danger of self-indictment over its prior coverage or non-coverage. Weiss has called a long line of witnesses before a grand jury, and there is growing expectation of criminal charges against Hunter Biden. Nothing concentrates the mind as much as a looming incident. Thus, the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, and other media faced the embarrassing prospect of an indictment based on a story they previously suggested was either a non-story or Russian disinformation. Suddenly, in recent days, they all rushed to declare the story legitimate, 18 months after the New York Post reported it in October 2020. What quickly emerged, though, was a new narrative. None of this implicates President Biden. On CNN, White House correspondent John Harwood declared, quote, "There is zero evidence that Vice President Biden or President Biden has done anything wrong in connection with what Hunter Biden has done." Anchor Brian Kaler then added for emphasis that Harwood was making, quote, "an important distinction. It was important, but not because it was true." While many media figures now willingly admit the legitimacy of Hunter Biden's abandoned laptop story, they are avoiding what the emails found on that laptop actually contain. Hundreds of emails appear to detail a multi-million-dollar influence peddling enterprise by the Biden family, including Hunter Biden and his uncle James Biden. Influence peddling has long been the way Washington elites enriches itself. This common source of political corruption involves the relatives of powerful government figures who shake down corporations or countries for access and influence. The Bidens would seem to be standouts in this common practice, engaging in a virtual family business. James Biden has been accused of marketing his connection to his brother, and in the emails discovered on the abandoned laptop, Hunter Biden practically sold timeshares of his father by dangling meetings and dinners for investors. The key in any influence peddling scheme is to protect the principal. People apparently were told to avoid directly referring to President Biden. In one email, Tony Bobulinski, then a business partner of Hunter's, was instructed by Biden associate James Gilliar not to speak of the former Veep's connection to any transactions. Quote, "Don't mention Joe being involved. It's only when you are face to face. I know you know that, but they are paranoid." I thought we already knew all this stuff, kind of on the fringes from
a year ago.
We did,
but
yeah, I guess the general public is.
This is a lot of people's first time hearing this stuff.
Instead, the emails apparently refer to President Biden with code names such as Celtic or the Big Guy. In one, the Big Guy is discussed as possibly receiving a 10% cut on a deal with the Chinese energy firm. Other emails reportedly refer to Hunter Biden paying portions of his father's expenses and taxes. Despite President Biden's repeated claims he knew nothing about these dealings, Bobulinski has said he personally met with the senior Biden to discuss Hunter Biden's business activities. Bobulinski had been selected by the family to handle these deals. I remember that press conference. It was just like in some hotel meeting room. And he was like holding up a phone, and he was like, "I got it all here. I got all the messages with Hunter. It's all here." As Vice President Joe Biden flew to China on Air Force Two with Hunter Biden, who arranged for his father to meet some of the business interests. Hunter Biden's financial interest in a Chinese-backed investment firm, BHR Partners, was registered within weeks of that 2013 trip. Yet, President Biden repeatedly insisted that he never discussed such dealings with his son, a claim Hunter Biden has contradicted. There are emails of Ukraine and other foreign clients thanking Hunter Biden for arranging meetings with his father. There are photos from dinners and meetings that tie President Biden to these figures, including a 2015 dinner with a group of Hunter Biden's Russian and Kazakh clients. Goes on here. I don't necessarily need to read the entire thing. Let's see.
Did you watch that recent interview that Hunter Biden did
No.
with some blonde chick? I'm looking
some
for it
blonde
now.
chick.
I thought I had sent it to you, but I'm having a
Maybe was it one of those? Was it recent or was it one of those like near recent, like a few weeks ago, a few months ago, maybe a couple months?
You know, I thought it was really recent. Yeah, I thought so, but it was. You know, I don't have enough details. It might not even be worth talking about. But he was being asked, and she was doing a good job of at least appearing like she was asking him the hard questions. And one of the lines really killed me in it because he was getting like frustrated, which was not a good look. Like This was obviously a part of his PR, you know, sort of comeback campaign. And he was doing a really bad job. He was getting defensive and kind of like his dad, you know, when both those Bidens apparently have the habit of just like getting mean.
Mad.
Yeah, when like getting faced with tough questions, just this like obstinance of like, I can't even believe you would ask me this.
Keep yapping, man. Think minority.
Yeah. One of his, questions was talking about the money in Ukraine and was this unethical, and he gets all mean looking and he goes, God, I just did what I did, but nothing I did was out of some sort of unethical principle. I would never be unethical. And it's like, bro, it's like not even conspiracy theory. Seeing the pictures of you in the bathtub and the crack pipes and the this and the that. I mean, you can't say you've ever done anything unethical, my man. That is not a solid defense. You've quite obviously done some unethical things. And so a little bit less on the indignant, I think will read a little better in the interview. Anyway, it's better. I'm going to keep looking for it. You continue.
I don't know. I mean, there's not much else to really talk about other than, it just mentions the conflict of interest there and the political bias that may enter into this whole investigation and how, some of these guys are saying, we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. But it's interesting because it's only one line of attack here. I think nearing the elections now, this is kind of a problem for the Democrats, but they're doing a good job of sort of just letting it kind of be there. But I mean, I don't know. In the context of the political race in the U.S., it's an interesting story to keep tabs on because it obviously was used.
I love it
in the last elections, and it'll be interesting to see how it's used in this one. Yeah,
and they're just sticking with the deny, but not deny the evidence.
Right.
They don't even address the evidence or the laptop. Still no denial about the laptop or its contents. None of that. It's just the talking point is, I did nothing unethical. My son did nothing unethical. And
but his whole definition of unethical is certainly not what the majority of the population considers
lizard
unethical.
People have their own version of what ethical means, so we need to keep the pressure on it.
Speaking of ethical, who's been running on the ethics part of the campaign?
We will launch a new age.
Mr. Trump. He's back.
Oh, is he ethical now?
He's ethical. He's this whole campaign is based on the ethical nature of Trump.
Okay,
hard
tell
to say.
me about
hard
it.
to say. Okay, so this is from his rally from Washington, Michigan, and here's what he said.
And just to cover it quickly, because I don't want to take a lot of time, but it's coming out, this Truth to Vote, where they found all the thousands and thousands of ballot harvesters. You've seen that. Truth to Vote, when you see that, that's coming out in 2 weeks. When you see those numbers, I think it's 4 or 5 million people cheating. Those numbers are coming out. Now, the press hates like hell to cover it. Oh, and they go crazy because they have a lot of live television. I'm talking about this. They don't know what to do. They're saying, should we turn off the cameras? Who cares? But right here, just quickly, in Michigan, your corrupt state official sent out 7.7 million unsolicited mail-in ballot applications to everyone on the rolls, including people that were dead and those who no longer live in the state. Other than that, it was wonderful. How many people got more than one? Actually, you wouldn't have that many. No, the Democrats got a lot more than one. But even you have a lot more than one. No, it's crazy. When you hear mail-in ballot, you can guarantee you have a corrupt election.
You know, we were talking in the last couple episodes about the convenience of bringing up the Q conversation for the midterm elections coming up here. But isn't it weird how Trump is kind of leaning into that too? Again, I mean, with more, it feels like he has more ammo. He was saying all the same stuff, a couple years ago, but now he's like, oh, the evidence is coming. It sounds Q-ish.
Well, that's the interesting timing of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is because, I mean, essentially everybody wants to bring the Q, if not the specifics of Q, at least trigger the sort of the mania of Q. Yeah, they want the mania, yeah. Trump wants it because it fires up his machine, his media machine and grassroots social media, whatever. And the media, the corporate news loves it because everybody wants to hear more about the crazy Q people.
Yeah.
And the Democrats want it because it gives them an enemy, a really nice enemy.
I think they realized how much money they made off of Trump hate. And they're like, in the last couple of years, they're like, well, trying to keep the puppet of Biden up is way harder than just hating on Trump. Maybe we should have this guy back in office.
It's an incredibly profitable thing to have floating around. I do got to say, man, Trump is, you can tell that he has fun up there, man.
He does. Yeah, no, he's a good time.
I miss that. He has a lot of fun up there. I mean, you take it for what you will, but after sitting through Biden's whatever they gotta hop him up with to get him up there, he just doesn't want to be there. Yeah. Nothing. The way he talks, what he says, he doesn't want to be there. Trump loves being up there, and he's pretty good at it.
Well, the point about the mainstream media loving Trump and kind of needing him to be around to have a target, an enemy. This article from Newsweek here kind of seems to lean in that direction. The headline is January 6th committee pushing for Trump's prosecution could backfire. Newsweek? Really? You're saying it can backfire? As a House Select Committee continues to look into the riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, some legal experts believe a criminal referral from Congress to the Department of Justice regarding former President Donald Trump could have negative results. On Monday, a former member of the Obama administration told Politico that he believes such a move could actually backfire and make the Justice Department's work on any such case even more difficult. This comes after a ruling last week from U.S. District Court Judge David Carter, who wrote that the former president, more likely than not, committed a felony when he attempted to illegally obstruct Congress on January 6, 2021. Ronald Wyke, I know, right. Ronald Wyke, a law professor at the University of Baltimore and a former assistant attorney general in the Justice Department during the Obama administration, told Politico that if the January 6th committee issued a criminal referral against Trump, it would only complicate things, adding politics into the mix. Quote, a former criminal referral from Congress in this situation could backfire. The Justice Department's charging decisions should not be influenced by political pressure, and that's how this might look. A referral could make it harder for the Justice Department to prosecute, Wyke said. Wyke is not only a legal expert to hold such an opinion, and it goes on and talks about other people. But yeah, interesting. In the 4 years of just anything to take down, just anything to take this guy down. Now that we got the committee, the January 6th committee, saying like, "Hey, we can get him on criminal charges," and they're like, don't do that. We need him.
Don't do that.
We need him back. We can't have him go to jail because then we're going to run out of material.
As if that's even possible.
Oh, that's not going to even be.
He's much more useful to literally everyone to have him out of jail.
To the New World Order too, by the way.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
You found this.
If you
HuffPost.
want, I found the video.
Okay.
It's kind of a long video, but I think I have the timestamp to get the best part of it. I don't know if you want to watch the whole thing, but go to 6:25 or something, right around there.
Okay.
I think that will lead into the funniest part.
I'm
of
just
the
trying
whole thing.
to see if this thing will even load. I'm waiting for it to load.
Oh
fully here.
no!
Yeah, slow
Load!
internet.
Come on, Huffington Post.
Okay, here we go. Is it in that tweet?
I had it all the way. That should do it. Yeah, maybe try the tweet. There's a video all the way down at the bottom, but that tweet
It was a 43-second tweet.
Yeah, let's do the tweet. Do that one. That's easier.
Okay, let's see here. Let me just back it up to the beginning, and here is Hunter Biden talking.
No, in retrospect, look, I think that it was poor judgment on my part. I think that it was poor judgment because I don't believe now, when I look back on it, I know that did nothing wrong at all. However, was it poor judgment to be in the middle of something that is it's a swamp in many ways?
A swamp?
Yeah, and so I take full responsibility for that. Did I do anything improper? No, not in any way whatsoever.
So
I joined the board. I served honorably. I focused on corporate governance. I didn't have any discussions with my father before or after I joined the board as it related to it, other than that brief exchange that we had.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Other than when I did. Dang, that is not the good part. That's not the part where he gets angry. Of course, ABC would not
I was going to say,
put him
probably
on blast like that. Yeah. Well, I don't know if we want to spend too much time on it, but if you want it, we could try the 625 down.
Okay, let me
down
see
there.
here. The 620.
Let's get to that exclusive.
Okay, 625.
With Hunter Biden, the son of former Vice President Joe Biden.
Where is the timestamp?
He's right here.
Yeah.
We saw you in those photos getting off of Air Force Two with your daughter, with your father. You were there.
Everywhere with my daughter. And I went there because my daughter was on the trip too.
Did you talk about China or your deal with China?
No.
A 12-hour flight over?
No, of course not.
That never came up?
No.
Your father did shake hands with Mr. Lee, though, correct, in the lobby of that hotel?
I don't remember, but probably. Yeah, I hope so. I hope he did. He was my friend.
Jonathan Lee.
Yeah, for almost 13 years.
He was your friend and your business partner.
But I understand. So really, Amy, whether I'm in New York or whether I'm in Washington, D.C., a friend and a business associate is in the hotel, and my dad's staying there. Is it inappropriate for me to have coffee with them? I don't
so that
find
meeting
anything
was
wrong.
not a mistake. It was not unethical.
100% not. No.
What do you say to people who believe this is exactly why people hate Washington? A vice president's son can make money in countries where your father is doing official government business.
Well, I don't know.
Who says it?
I made a mistake.
You ever been on the internet, buddy? Maybe he's busy doing something else.
He's just getting mad. He's just getting mad at her for the very idea that somebody would disagree with his actions.
Who says this? I don't know. Like
nobody says
millions of people on the internet.
Who says that it's wrong for a vice president's son to illegally benefit from his father's name? Who says this?
It's
Nobody I
funny
know says this.
Even this is from 2019. Wow, this is really old. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Even the clip that the ABC tried to highlight of him is chock full of contradictions. I'm fully accountable. I admit to doing something. But I'm not doing anything wrong. But I admit to doing. But I don't even know what he's trying to say. It's like, whoa, dude.
I know, and he's getting angry. I'm sorry. This is from 2019. That is funny.
Yeah, it's old.
It came across my my feed there, and I was like, oh, that's a great one. But yeah, I did not know it's that old. But that's hilarious. I mean, that shows just how long this has been going on. All right, let's just keep moving with the show. What do we got? Oh yes.
5G kills humans.
5G. There's a new commercial that Verizon put together featuring Jim Carrey. And I have the commercial here. When I clipped it,
the illuminated master himself.
Right. The original clip here was 1 minute and 33 seconds. I think when I cut it, it was 1 minute 32. But whatever. Here it is.
Okay.
Cable guy!
No thanks. I don't need cable. I have Verizon 5G internet.
5G internet? Never heard of it.
5G ultra wideband, it's way better.
Oh, I see. So somehow your home is connected to the information superhighway on Verizon's ultra-fast 5G network wirelessly.
Yeah.
Magically beaming powerful invisible internet into some sorcerer's box without miles and miles of this. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Wait. Can I see it?
Sure.
Small white cube.
Ooh.
All the occult symbols. It's a
I
small
love
white
the
cube.
idea.
Yeah.
I love the idea that in some marketing meeting, some PR firm hired for millions of dollars
Right.
To make
How
a
are we gonna
commercial.
pitch 5G to the next generation?
The cable guy is like a 20
No, it was like a
20-year-old movie.
Oh, it's got to be 19 something.
Yeah, it's like 25-year-old movie, something like that. That's hilarious. Nobody under the age of, I don't know, 35 or so has even seen that film in 20 years.
1996.
Okay. 1996.
1996.
What is that? 26 years ago.
I was 13 years old.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. Old.
Okay.
Moment
Okay.
of, moment
Well,
of
maybe
reflection.
maybe they're trying to get the 40-year-old millennials on board. That's their whole thing.
Well, let's keep going here. There's a little bit more. This is only halfway through the commercial here.
Oh my.
They must have locked you into quite a contract.
Nope.
Hidden fees?
I love those.
Nope. Price is the price.
This may be illegal, and you could spend time in a correctional facility. I'm going to need to know who installed this.
Me. It's plug and play. But you can have Verizon install it.
Verizon guy
Nice
outside.
man. Well, let me juice you up at work.
Got one at my shop too. Runs my business.
Reception's good. But I'll come back tomorrow and double check.
No, I don't think we'll need you to come.
No. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. I have my fingers in my ears.
The internet is going ultra, introducing 5G.
That is a long commercial.
It's a minute and a half. It's a long commercial. Here's what I think is going on here. It's part of an appeal to that next generation, but also it's kind of like an insult to the cable guy generation. I guess that would be my generation, who grew up with cables and all this kind of stuff. We can't keep up because we tend to be the generation that's like 5G is going to kill everybody. You know, that whole conspiracy seems to be, they probably did some like, some kind of survey or whatever to find out what population are really against 5G or whatever. And they decided to go with something like this to make fun of those people.
There's also, I'm starting to turn on it. It's starting to make more sense now. I take back my earlier criticism, is that, because if you remember the movie, The Cable Guy, it's, he's sort of in this position of power as the cable guy, and he wields that power to sort of terrorize the people who depend on him for their TV, and he can give out rewards and take the cable guy taketh, or cable guy giveth and taketh away type of thing. And he's insane, but you still have to deal with him or else you don't get TV. And it is a very powerful message when you're talking about the messaging of, old world versus new world.
Information dissemination.
We're all sort of hyper aware of big corporations, abusing us because we have no other choice, especially telecommunications famously is sort of the whole industry is in this sort of legal monopoly situation where there's price fixing and all the telecommunication companies are in league with each other and things like this. So it's an allusion back to, the cable guy, how things used to be where they would just abuse you and spy on you and mess with you, but not with 5G. 5G will set you free.
Right. That's what Verizon is pushing. Yeah. Yeah. I installed it myself.
So,
it runs my business. It does everything for me. It's not Verizon. It's me. I'm doing it. Yeah.
It's this illusion of independence from the sort of corporate lizard overlords.
Right.
when, of course, we know that is exactly that, simply an illusion.
Yeah, the Verizon guy, he's just a helpful guy with the van that helps you install it if you need it. You know, they're not a mega corporation controlling all of the communication infrastructure in the U.S. and the world.
They're not. Of course, they're not spying on you, and of course, you're not getting cooked alive by invisible radio frequencies. Well, who needs those darn cables when you could have magic flowing through the air and frying your brain?
Just to throw back, there was a paper that was published by the National Institute of Health, the National Library of Medicine. It was a paper published on September of 2021, titled "Evidence for a Connection Between Coronavirus Disease 19 and Exposure to Radio Frequency Radiation from Wireless Communications, Including 5G." And it made the case that SARS-CoV-2, the virus that caused COVID-19 pandemic, surfaced in Wuhan shortly after the implementation of citywide fifth-generation 5G of wireless communication radiation and rapidly spread globally, initially demonstrating a statistical correlation to international communities with recently established 5G networks. And, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, very interesting. Well, I went back because, it's one of those things you kind of just take a look every once in a while to see if there's any updates. There were a bunch of reviews that were done of this study, and there's commentary on the reviews. And I highlighted a couple of them.
It seems like something that would be in the crosshairs of the debunkers.
Right. So there's a bunch of reviewers. Most of them came in with it's interesting. You might need to rephrase some of the way you described some of the stuff. Like this first one, in conclusion, while the effects of RF and changes observed in COVID patients seem to overlap at some specific conditions of exposure, and given that the RF effects depend on number of physical and biological variables, more stringent retrieval of RF studies is needed to discuss possible connection of 5G exposure and COVID pandemia. Otherwise, this connection should be significantly downplayed, and the text should be revised accordingly. So it's one of those things where they acknowledge that there is a connection, but they keep saying we need more study. We need more.
That was the part about it. Yeah, none of the reviewers, of which there were many.
There's many.
And many people and industries and companies had, the incentive to sort of straight up debunk it. None of them really would or could. They're like, we don't like how you said it. I mean, we can't argue with the data and the correlations, but can you just tone it down just a little bit, please? Do some more studies. Just turn the volume down a bit.
Yeah, reviewer 8 was probably the most interesting. I won't read the whole thing, just a little part here. He says, this paper delves into the facet of COVID-19 and the evolving use of the widespread release of 5G into the environment and the relationship between the two. This relationship has rarely been studied in the literature. That alone seems to make this paper relatively significant. It also provides evidence that the precautionary principle would call for more study before continuing the widespread deployment of 5G towers across the world, as well as the release of satellites that are envisioned to surround the planet. While bringing internet access to the world's population seems to be a good thing, parenthetical, and providing information to the societies that lack it now, we need to consider the law of unintended consequences. The plans are for 5G to blanket the world, leaving no place without this new exposure to this microwave and milliwave radiation, and potentially affecting all life on Earth, with the exception of beings that live in lead-lined shelters or Faraday cages. Based on this paper alone, it indicates the need for further study before this is widely deployed. So they all admit there's something to this, which is, not insignificant, I would say, for a paper like this that has all the trigger words in the title of the paper from the NIH themselves about the coronavirus disease 19 and 5G. So links in the description.
The statistical overlaps that exist there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, take that, Jim Carrey. Which is pretty funny because actually with his new sort of woo-woo thing that he's all sort of guru'd out recently, I'm pretty sure I've seen him speak out against 5G before, or at least sort of allude to.
These actors can flip on a dime, literally. They can flip on a dime.
All it takes is a dime, yeah. All right, well, speaking of flipping on a dime, Gons, I think it's time to take a second and thank some producers.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
That's right, folks. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, we've got a bunch more show. And just a quick little reminder, YouTube live broadcast viewers going to need to switch over to a new location soon. Just a heads up. But before that, I want to draw your attention, dear listener, to the fact that you have not seen a single advertisement on the show, before the show, during the show, no affiliate codes. In fact, no corporate money whatsoever, no partnerships of any kind. We are completely free from the strings of the lizard people overlords. And, you can't blame some independent people for getting a little wrapped up in the strings. It's easy to do. You're doing a show, you're trying to monetize, trying to do good work, and those emails just start flowing in, offering all sorts of wonderful incentives and programs that you can use to monetize your podcast. All you got to do is pick the brands that you want to advertise. We'll even let you turn down advertisements for banks and pharma companies if you want. But go ahead, take the money. Come on, take the money. We know you need it. And then people do. Sometimes they do. And when they do, they suddenly find themselves under the thumb of not just any particular corporation that maybe they don't like, but even more so under the spiritual oppressive force that blankets the earth, that is convincing and convinced itself that the most effective way to fund quality independent media, even if it is corporate news analysis and deconstruction, is to participate in a system that incentivizes creators like Gons and I to consider you, dear listener, not as a human being with hopes for the future, regrets of the past, and little joys and sorrows during the day that are beautiful in a way. No. You are then a commodity, which we need to focus, do anything we need to do to get more of that commodity, to collect those eyeballs, which come attached with trust and appreciation and attention. And then it's that attention and that trust that then gets sold off to the advertising companies for our own personal gain. If you're thinking that what I'm describing sounds like some dystopian future hellscape where the minds of human beings are sort of, mined, M-I-N-E-D, for some sort of economic purpose that does not benefit them, but only those at the top of a structure that seeks almost explicitly to exploit those beneath them for their own personal gain. Well, it's not a story. It's not a movie. It's really what's happening. And it's the advertising industry that makes it all happen. Yes, indeed. It's the justification for things like big data collection, privacy concerns, creating a cybernetic model of you, perhaps even a homunculi found in the ancient tomes of the magicians of the past, where your interests, your qualities, even your secret ones that you don't share on social media, they are compiled and constructed together to create some sort of lifeless, soulless version of you somewhere in the hive mind in the cloud. And then that is sold to companies as a way to subtly psychologically manipulate you into spending money you don't have on things you don't need, and being thankful for it in some sick way. Well, not here, folks. We don't participate in that. We believe that not only is that spiritually harmful for the world as a whole, but we don't want to subject our listeners to that. We just couldn't sleep at night. Instead, we're on the value for value model, which is simple. We create value. We do it 3 times a week. And if you find any value in the independent corporate news media deconstruction and analysis that we do on this show, if it brings you laughs, if it brings you to tears, if it brings you perhaps a perspective or pieces of knowledge that you have not had access to before or from any other location, that means you're getting value. You're getting value out of the show. And it's all of our personal responsibility to show and to tell and to scream from the rooftops to the leaders of this world that seek to oppress us even more, that we will not take it. So we take responsibility for the future of independent media, which is so at risk. And the people who produce this show, that is, put value back in, are members of that rebellion. And so we want to thank them now and here. And starting out, there's a couple ways to become a producer. If you don't know already, you can go to patreon.com/CCNT, or even better, you can go to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right, Gons, and we're going to start out with our executive producer. Who is it?
Our executive producer. Well, let me do this real quick here, properly.
Okay.
Executive producers.
Our executive producer, who we thanked earlier, but we'll thank again. Stephen or Steven? Steven S. Stephen.
That's right. Stephen S. Thank you so much. No, Stefan's here. Thank you, Steven. And Stefan comes in with a whopping 133.32. Wow. Going to be a little rascal here. Throw us off the trail. Coming in with $133.32. Thank you very much, Stefan. And there's a note here. It says, "It is my birthday. For my Yippee birthday. It is my birthday. For my birthday, please translate the like and subscribe jingle. All I ever figured is, it says, is like, subscribe, robotus, all." But that doesn't make sense. Remember, it's pronounced Stefan. Okay, we got it. Stefan. Thank you very much. Yes, he told us right there. Guns, do you want to play the like, subscribe, robotus, all?
Like, subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all.
It's like,
Yes.
subscribe, bell button, all.
Bell button.
Because
That's
if you're on
right.
YouTube, you click that bell button, and then you have the option to click all, and you should do that.
It's to turn on notifications.
Yes, turn on
you
all
like,
notifications.
Subscribe, you got to turn on all notifications. Well, there you go. Happy birthday. I'm happy that we could provide this gift for you, Stefan S. And even more so, thank you for providing for the show, which is not just for Gons and I. Of course, that's definitely, we are a couple of the primary beneficiaries of that. But also, you're supporting the show, keeping it going for all the other listeners around the world. So thank you, Stefan.
Thank you, Stefan. All right, let's mention.
Did we give him the real executive producer jingle?
Oh yeah, we should do that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, where is it? Oh, here it is.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, here you go, Stefan.
Where'd you find this?
Stephen Surrey.
I don't know what that
Stephen
means,
Curry,
but
but
okay.
Stephen Surrey. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, head on over to canarycrysupply.com if you would.
Yeah, do that.
canarycrysupply.com. Go check it out if you want to receive exclusive, awesome things made by yours truly, and even more importantly, producers, artists, the whole Canary Cry family pitches in. We've got all sorts of really cool things that we send out to you 4 times a year if you sign up to produce the show for $33 a month. We are just days away, folks. We had a personal emergency come up with a producer or two, but the supply drop is getting ready to ship as we speak. And we're going to be sending out an email here with instructions and what to expect when the supply drop arrives, but also a nice video from Gons and perhaps some of your very first NFT. It is certainly Canary Cry's first NFT, and you are the sole beneficiaries of that. So we're very excited. And it's not too late to sign up. Of course, things will be happening every month. But I would encourage everybody to support the show. You sign up for a monthly producership. You can feel good about producing the show, feeling ownership of the show, but also receive cool stuff for free. Go to canarycrysupply.com. And, we're all just out here waiting for the supply drop.
Waiting for the supply drop.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got some more
new
producers.
supply droppers.
No new supply droppers. So we had producers to thank. We're going to start with Holly S.
Holly S. Thank you very much, Holly S. Holly S comes in with 3333. That's right. And I did not see a note or nothing from Holly, so thank you. Thank you anyways.
Thank you very much, Holly. Next up, we have Bernie E. Oh,
that's right.
Bernie Sanders, but guess
no,
not. Yeah.
no. Bernie E comes in for 11 plus fees and signed up for a monthly recurring producership of that 11. Thank you very much, Bernie.
Thank you, Bernie. Appreciate that. Next up, we have LX Protocol V2.
That's right. LX Protocol V2 is on a 15-episode streak, which means producer bot LX Protocol V2 is a rocket man.
Rocket man. Burning out his fuse out here
Alone. That's right. Thank you very much, LX Protocol V2, coming in for the pocket full of sevens and fees.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Sir Scott Knight of Truth.
That's right. Sir Scott Knight of Truth is on a 128 episode streak.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Sir Scott Knight of Truth.
Thank you. No note, huh? Next up, we have Sir Sigra the Beast.
Sir Sigra the Beast is on a 2-episode streak. Coming in for a pocket full of sevens here in the Newt. The Newt says, last night I dreamt that Basil's VR headset fell off and revealed his face. What did it look like? A big Mr. Yuck sticker with a beard and googly eyes. God, dreams can get weird. What is a Mr. Yuck sticker?
I had to look it up.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah. I'm going to pull it up here. It's one of those, at least the one I can find, is it's a circle. Instead of a smiley face, it's kind of like a eyes squint or eyebrows squinted and tongue sticking out face. Like a bleh.
Is it like an emoji? Oh, yeah,
like
I'm looking
yuck,
at it now. It's a
yuck.
green, yeah, sort of in the smiley face style, but it's green and it's sticking out his tongue. It looks like a
emoji.
No, what it looks like is a what is it called? Like a poison control.
Oh yeah, this is
PR
poisonous.
thing.
Yeah, the light green and the
a lot of them say National Capital Poison Center, and then the phone number for the poison center. Interesting. Okay, well, maybe that is what I look like under there. Who knows? But yes, I don't know what that dream. I don't know what that dream means, Sir Sigra. But thank you for letting us know.
It means God is keeping you anonymous, Basil.
I was going to say maybe I'm poison control. If your mind gets poisoned, you just call up your buddy Baz and he'll tell you how to handle it.
Meet you in the metaverse.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Well, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that. All right.
Thank you very much, Sir Sigra the Beast. Next
up, we have Sir Salmon's Knight of the Fishes.
Yeah, Sir Salmon's Knight of the Fishes coming in with 3333. Thank you very much, Sir Salmons. And he has a note here. Happy Monday, lads. And there's a little UFO emoji. Have a great show. Thank you very much, Sir Salmons, Knight of the Fishes.
Thank you, Sir Salmons. Next up, Puddin22.
Puddin22 coming in with a pocket full of sevens plus fees and a note. Greetings, Basil and Gons. Finally back in my human cat house after a wild week in Branson. Ready for a great show and to let the fur fly. What day is it? Meow, meow, meow. Puddin22.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
Thank you, Puddin22.
Meow, meow, meow.
Appreciate it. Next up, we have Morv.
Morv is on a 72 episode streak. Coming in with the 1111. Thank you very much, Morv.
Thank you, Morv. Next up, we have Sir JC, Knight of the Techno Squatch.
Sir JC, Knight of the Techno Squatch, is coming in on an 80 I gotta double check this one. This was my bad. Yeah, 87 episode streak.
All right.
Mhm.
1001. Amen.
That's right, 1001. Thank you, JC. And a note, I hope you both had a restful weekend. I did not, but it's okay. Thank you. Anyways, love all you Canarians out there. Love you too, JC. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sir JC. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Jonathan F.
Jonathan F is on a 2-episode streak.
Three.
Coming in with a pocket full of 7s plus fees. What day is it, Gary?
What day is it? Monday.
Monday. Do you think we'll see another David and Goliath moment in the end times if the Nephilim come back through a CERN portal in Antarctica? Can't wait for the Joe Rogan episode on Ravel. Man, that would get the PR, the marketing going, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many invites Joe Rogan gets in a single day.
Probably
like people
1,000.
just sending people just sending emails, just being like, you know what? It doesn't even matter, man. We'll just send it. Who knows? Maybe like a miracle will happen and he'll do it. But it's like 1,000 people a day doing that. It's possible. God, with God, nothing is impossible. That's for sure. Let's see here. David and Goliath with what do you think, Gons? Nephilim, David and Goliath situation with the CERN portal in Antarctica? Yes? No?
Maybe. I don't know. The Bible prophecy makes it sounds like once the whole evil thing is unleashed that it's not going to be good for the saints. So yeah,
it'll probably be more like a Pacific Rim situation where I, by then, have sort of gotten my mech license and have put together sort of a ragtag team of mecha rough riders. And we take our mechas down to Antarctica to defend, against the hordes of Nephilim coming through the portal. And that's probably how I'll die, I imagine. But it'll be a pretty good scene in the movie, that's for sure.
Yep. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jonathan F.
Thank you, Jonathan F. Next up, we have Katerina D.
Katerina D. coming in with pocket full of 7s and fees.
Thank you, Katerina D. Next up, we have...
That's it. No, nothing.
No. Next up, we have Isaac G.
Isaac G is producing the show for a pocket full of 7s plus fees. Thank you very much, Isaac.
Thank you, Isaac.
We may have gotten a note from Isaac. I'm usually pretty good at scooping up the notes and things when they happen, but when we're trying to get started early, it is possible that something slips through the cracks, but not in this case. Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you very much, Isaac. That's the cutoff right there.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to get back to our list. There we go. And that concludes our list of financial producers who came in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. But we got a few more to thank, and we'll just zoom through them now. First of all, we got Sir Casey the Shield Knight on a 138 episode streak.
Thank you, Sir Casey the Streak.
38. You are the streak, Sir Casey. Next up, we got the Streak Sisters, starting with Veronica D on a 104 episode streak.
Streakers. Women rule.
Thank you so much.
And of course, the other Streak Sister, Gail M, on a 104 episode streak.
Streakers. Women rule.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we got
you.
Jackie U on a 45 episode streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule.
Thank you, Jackie U.
And Sir James Knight and Servant of the Lion of Judah on 73 episode streak.
Okay. Thank you, Sir James.
And last but not least, we got Runk Smash on a 17 episode streak.
Thank you, Rung Smash.
There we go. We did it. That concludes our list of financial producers for this episode of Canary Cry News Talk, episode 467. Yeah.
Yep. That's
okay.
correct.
There we go. And There's nothing else to say, but thank you for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your patronage.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you stepped
head on over
right on it.
to canarycrynewstalk.com. There's a green little tab. Click on that tab and you can leave us a voice message. That's right. 90 seconds of freedom, I call it, to myself, because I've never said it out loud or ever once before, but that is the new thing. 90 seconds to leave whatever message you want, and you are explicitly giving us permission to read it on the show if we want, but it is not guaranteed. Who do we have coming in?
Read or play. Normally play, but...
Did I say read?
Yeah, but, it's okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to start transcribing them and then performing them myself on the show, yes.
We first up got a message from Quantum Epic.
Hey guys, It's Quantum Epic here. I love this little thing you got going that you can leave a message. Mine's going to be mumbling, but I just want to say hi, and you guys do a great job. I listen to you all the time, and I love your clip channel. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, baby.
Basil and Gons, you guys are hilarious, and like I said, love listening to you. Always uplifts my day. So, you guys, I'm visiting California right now. It's interesting. The sights are beautiful, but, it's kind of
I know.
sad. There's definitely a homeless
I know it's sad.
But
I know.
Anyway, yeah, it's expensive and all that, but they're so beautiful. The coast and the redwoods. That's where I'm at. So, alrighty, 90 seconds is the max duration. I guess I will leave it at about that. Okay, so thanks again, and keep up the great work.
Thank you very much, Quantum Epic. I love that as a new trend for the voice message channel. Just come on and just sort of, list the reasons why California is a bad place. It's we got to get Gons out of there, guys. It's peer pressure is the name of the game. I don't know if he claims to know, but I think a reminder once in a while. Thank you very much, Quantum Epic.
Thank you.
Always wonderful hearing people give us compliments.
Yeah, that's always very nice.
I will never, I'm not going to get tired of that. That's a great use of the tool.
Yep. Thank you, Quantum Epic. Next up, we have a message from Rochelle.
Hello, Canarians. Just wanted to start off Monday right. Here is Psalm 52. Does the great warrior boast about his crime? God judges them in eternal time. All day long you plot destruction. You deal in lies, deceit, and corruption. You love the evil lies you tell. Slander those who might rebel. But God will strike you down and pull you from your town and uproot you from the land of the living.
Ooh.
The righteous will see and be amazed. Look as the mighty warrior is tased. They did not trust in the Lord of hosts, but of their wicked wealth they boast. And the righteous, like a fruitful tree in the house of God eternally, in your unfailing love I trust. Proclaim your virtuous deeds I must. I will live by Yah's great name. From the faithful he takes all blame. God bless you guys.
Thank you, Rochelle.
Okay, that was fun. That was a fun little twist on it. It's like a mix between a freestyle a cappella rap or perhaps a slam poetry competition.
Yeah, it's kind of a hybrid.
Bible style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rochelle. Always wonderful to hear that soothing voice of yours.
Absolutely. I think that's it. That's all the messages we got.
Okay, love it. Thank you all. Remember, leave us a message over there at canarycrynewstalk.com, and we'd love to play it on the show. Always nice to know that there's real human beings out there and not just a bunch of Russian bots. All right.
Yeah, I should have tried to find a bed for that, like a little on the road Jack Kerouac. What are the beatnik? Like a beatnik style.
Some bongos.
Yeah, just a little thing in the background. I should have done
bongos.
that. But,
well, you're okay, Guns. Don't worry. You've got a lot of things to worry about. Improving upon our listeners' voice messages unprovoked is pretty far down on the list.
Okay, well.
Okay.
I like for them to be experienced in the proper.
You are a true professional. All right.
Okay, let's wake up and then say bye. Wake up first.
Okay. Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
And say bye.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
Twitch, Rumble, Odysee, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, you can find all those links at canarycry.party as well. Too hot for YouTube. YouTube.
Now you see me. Now you don't.
That's right. Get out of here, Susan. This is